Right, I'll just let some people start coming on first. Get the guys start coming in. Right then, people. Lee Ashby here, Motocross and Speedway Memories. Got a superb interview for you this evening. Before I do that, I'm going to do a few thank yous. Big thanks for the support to Simon Pardo of White Eagle Finance. They give quality financial advice for pensions, mortgages, investments and protection. Check his website at www.whiteeaglefinance.co.uk. Big thanks to Stefan Everts with his S72 gin and vodka brand. Check all his amazing products at www.s72gin.com. And big thanks to Tom Brown of Motor Extreme in Moto Park 46. Check them out for all your off-road needs and including the new 2021 Kawasaki's at www.motorextreme.co.uk. And you can phone them on 01225 89 22227. Plus, you can speak to him about the practice track at Moto 46. Right, I can see people all coming in. Hey there. Hey, everyone. Right then. I'm going to give you the countdown here. And then we're going to get into this brilliant interview got lined up for you. So here we go. Right, people. This man, 92 World Team Cup winner, World Pairs champion. He's a British League champion, Premier League champion, Knockout Cup winner. He was a legend for Wolverhampton Wolves. He rode at Long Eaton, Bellevue Aces, Swindon Robins and the Edinburgh Monarchs in the British League. He was named the Rocket Ronnie Correy himself. I'm going to bring him in. Here we go. Mr. Ronnie Rocket. Here he is. How is it, Mr. Ron? How are you? How is it?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. Very good.
Looking good, mate.
I'm trying to keep going as we do at these ages.
That's it. Right, all the guys are coming in saying hello and everything, even greetings from Panama. There you go, look, Ronnie. Yeah, we get global these days. Right, we did have a little chat earlier to test this video. So before we get into the questions, we'll catch up on the latest news with you. What were you doing at the weekend then, Ronnie? What was going on?
Well, let's say about a week ago, I got asked to, I don't know if I went to do a meeting in Outlaw Nationals in New York. It was Pennsylvania. Yeah. I thought the guy was crazy, Jason Barnsworth. And I said, I haven't been in a meeting in probably 15, 16 years or a race professional at all. So I said, you're sure about this? And he says, yeah, you'll be all right. He says, I watched you do a match race when you came back with Duke about a year ago. He says, you'll be fine. I was like, well, let me have a day to think about this, I said first. And then I thought about it. I thought, well, I got to go back to the States anyway. So it'd be a good chance for me to do a little loop and see everybody, sort out a bit of business I had out there too, and see the family. So I went for it. And things went better than I thought, to be honest with you. I got out there, Billy Gennaro, Brock's there, Brandon, all these top boys. I'm thinking, oh, my God, here we go. This is going to be interesting. But I went out there and grabbed a bike and carried on. And I think the first day, we did 2-day meeting, Saturday and Sunday. I think I made the B final, should have made the A final, but they decided not to do a 5-man race in the first day. So I ended up taking the B man. And then the second day I went out, made the final, ended up making on the podium, 3rd overall. I couldn't believe it.
Wow. So the Rocket has still got it, as it were. If you don't mind me asking, Ronnie, how old are you actually now?
53. I'll be 54 on Sunday, November the 8th.
So it'll be happy birthday for Sunday from all of us. So nearly 54, and you're absolutely killing it out in America at the weekend.
Well, it's still in the blood. You can't get rid of it. You know what it's like. It never goes, does it, really?
For sure, mate.
You just slow down a little bit and you get more respectful, but you can't help it. Once you twist that throttle, it all goes away, doesn't it? That's the problem. Clearly still a fit
guy as well, Ronnie.
Yeah, I try to keep fit, train when I can, but they keep closing these gym with all this stuff going on at the moment. So putting on a bit of weight lately, but that's all right. Don't hurt me.
So how long have you been? So I know you living in the UK now. Have you been in the UK for a while, or?
Oh, I've been out here most of my life. I think I've been here since 1987, off and on through the years. I pretty much live out here now. Live in Cheltenham, and raising two boys in school and college and stuff like that. So, yeah, they keep me busy. I'm working for a metal fabrication place. Still doing the bike valeting, and I just started up another business, importing bikes from America, bringing over all 60, 70, 80 style motorbikes and then selling them over here. So, yeah, I've been pretty busy, really.
Awesome. I've got his name, Rogue Lansford. He's put, Ronnie, you are amazing, brother. He's just come up on the screen
there.
there.
Good buddy of mine. He wants you to join him.
Good man, good man. Right. I'll get into some questions then with you. How did you get into Speedway, Ronnie, and what is your earliest memory of the sport?
Well, I've been going to Speedway since I was a young kid. My parents were Speedway fanatics, so I've been going and watching Costa Mesa and stuff like that when I was a young lad, probably about 10, 11, and 12 years old, running around the grounds. But I never expected me to be on a bike. But they were doing some practicing one day out at a place called Saddleback Park. So I think there's a couple of lads out there trying to ride these junior bikes. And I was out there riding my dirt bike, just riding around as we did back in our days. And I went down there because being anxious as I am, I got to get out and check it out. So I went down there and asked a couple of questions, and I asked them if I can have a play. And believe it or not, it was Uncle Bill and Josh Larson and all these guys who were just out there trying to have a go. And I jumped on it, and that was it. I didn't want to get off it. I think I rode a 1.25. I think I ended up blowing it up today. I think that day too. Believe it or not. But I just got into that from there. And then I went home and told my parents I was quite interested. I wanted to get involved with this. And having 4 boys in the family, my parents didn't quite have the money to get involved, but they all kind of helped out. My dad helped out. My parents, my grandma helped out. I had a lot of other people stepped in and bought me some leathers and stuff. And next thing you know, it was me and Greg Hancock and a couple of guys at the first junior national thing, first junior race we had at Costa Mesa. And I still remember it now because I think I was about 13. Greg was about 10. I was leaning over on the peg as he was up on line. I was on the 30-yard line. I'm looking out the crowd thinking, whoa, what am I doing out here? Freaking out. The gates went up. Greg was already around the corners, right? Like take off. And I can still remember it now, you know, and I just kind of giggle now. Do you think the years we've had between me and Greg and all the boys and Crayley and Wolverhampton days, it's just shocking, really. I'm just glad I got involved with it because, you know, to be able to travel the world and do something you enjoy doing, it's not many opportunities you get a chance to do that, do you?
No. Is this one of the pictures there?
There it is. Gosh, yes. I was on my Mean Machine 250 Trophy Cub. They couldn't beat me on that thing.
The Rocket was away on that.
They used to put me on the 70-yard line. I still pass them all.
Because obviously in the States, they obviously didn't do that in the UK, but they always used to have your handicap. Yeah. They always used to like do your handicap starts and staggered to start. And...
That's it. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 usually was, but I was on the 70.
Couldn't get you any further away.
I was in the middle of the turn.
Yeah. So did you enjoy that? Because obviously, did that really sort of help all the American riders learn to pass and all this sort of?
Well, I think the juniors was a great experience for the young guys coming up. You know, for like myself, me, Greg, Billy, Hamill. God, there were so many of them that were all involved with it back in the days. And I think it was a great learning experience to get the abilities to learn how to ride the bike and what it was all about. And it was a great start before we went into professional, really. So, I mean, when we went to the big bikes, we already are on the ball game already. So when I went into third division, they pretty much just pushed me straight into second division because I pretty much just whipped them all, didn't I? So, and then I went into second division. I rode a couple of years in second division. I think I won the second division championship.
Yep.
And then like my third or fourth year, I rode that first division out there. I think I made the nationals that year. I think I'd take fourth or something like that in the nationals. And then 18 years old, just graduating high school, and here I was. I had an opportunity to come to England and race, and it was pretty crazy, really.
Yeah, it all happened quite quickly, though.
It did. I had to grow up quite quick. You know, coming over to England on my own at 18 years old was an experience I'll never forget. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, I have to grow up quite quickly then. All right, got another question here for you. What riders did you look up to and idolize when you were young, and why? And did you ever get to race any of your heroes?
I sure did. Well, when I was younger, it was always the Moran boys because they were little like me, and their riding style was like me, and I just always idolized them, and they're always my favorite. And I'm just lucky that I had a chance to ride with both of them. against him in leagues and World Team Cups, and Kelly with pairs, who he took second overall with behind Eric and got Hans Nielsen one year. So I've had some great times with them both. Sometimes with Kelly that I can't mention some days we've had, but we've had some cracking times and days that I'll never forget. I miss the little booger, I really do. You know, he's a character, and he'll never be forgotten. That's for sure.
Do you still speak to any of the guys, any of the American spear riders?
Yeah, I try to online a bit. You know, there's Greg and there's Billy, there's Jason Chisholm. There's a few of the boys that are online a lot. You know, we do chat once in a while, but we've all moved on our own ways in life now. We all got kids, and you know, things have changed. The life has changed. I mean, the world's not like it used to be anymore. So it ain't getting any easier either.
No. And everything you do is on social media in about 10 seconds flat. So
you got that right. Yep. Looks like this election. I've been watching that. That's just waiting for it to kick off over there. I'll tell you.
It's looking a bit crazy over there at the minute, isn't it?
It is. It is.
Right. Next question I got for you: who were the best sort of opposition tough competitors you would say from the British League racing days? Obviously, they was seriously stacked.
Well, when I first came over here, it wasn't an easy race at all. I mean, it was every race and every league I rode against, it was always 3 or 4 top riders in every race. It was just absolutely mental. You know, you line up, you got Hans Nielsen, you got Simon Cross, you got Simon Wigg. I mean, it's just there wasn't an easier race back in those days at all. But I still remember when I first came over, I got pushed about because I was a new kid coming up. I was young, so I was getting the elbows and getting pushed and getting shoved, and where I got the point where I got pretty pissed off about it. So I started doing a bit of homework, and I started watching people, and I watched Eric Gunnarsson, Hans Nielsen, people like that, and just started watching how they were gating and things like that. And then once I started getting the figure and getting the things lined up, getting my bikes better, getting my clutches better, I started popping in and started making some gates and started opening some eyes a little bit. People started recognizing me a bit more, and then I started shoving in some elbows in and pushing myself, and here we go. Here we go. 87, 88, 89. I made my first world final, so it was pretty crazy, really.
Because you were quite well known for making good starts.
Well, that's what I got my nickname Rocket for. So I used to blast out of the gate, didn't I? Well, they knew if I made that gate, the game was over.
I actually had a question for that as well. To say who made the Rocket nickname up? Do you remember who started that?
I got it. I had it from the States when I was younger over there too. So probably when I was in juniors, they just called me the Rocket from I started in juniors. But when I came over here, it still followed me, And then Gerald Smith, that used to be from Gerald Leathers, he called me the Pocket Rocket. So that went in for a while too. It's always been my name, and it always has been. And there's a few other people that have Rocket name too, but. Yeah, it's just something that's always been with me, and a lot of people still call me the Rocket now.
Yeah, you still used to have it on the back of your levers and Kevlars. And...
It's still there. Yeah, it's still there.
So I see that's hanging up drying from the weekend then, is it?
Yeah, I just thought I better get them out of their bag and wash them because they've been sitting there all week. So I thought I better get them up and wash them and hang out and dry a little bit. So
have they got the Rocket on the back of them as well? Or?
Yeah, I'll show you. I think they do.
Show us.
Let's have a look. There it is.
Here we go, look, Rocket. There it is.
Still there.
So were you feeling it? Were you nervous going into the weekend, or did you just not? You must have been a bit nervous.
I was a bit scared at all, to be honest with you. Going out and racing in the media and having not racing so many years, I was a bit scared. I got to say, the first race I went out, the first bike I ride, it was a bit out of control for me. It was lifting and picking up, and I was looking up everywhere, and I thought, Christ, this is not going to be very good, is it?
Holy shit.
So I parked that one. I tried one I did a little bit of practice on. I thought, I'm going to go back and ride that one. I felt more comfortable on it. But once I got back on that one, that was it. It was just smooth and easy.
A bit smoother,
People were coming in saying, how do you ride so smooth? How do you do that? And I'm just thinking, well, it's called a lot of years of experience, I got to say. I've been riding since I was 13, so you don't forget things, do you? So.
No, that's it, mate. That's brilliant. That is awesome. Fair play. Is there any plans to do any more now?
Well, I don't know. That's the problem when I do something like this. The phone seems to ring, doesn't it? You think,
exactly. They'll be like,
do my farewell meeting, or can you just do a meeting? I'm thinking, oh my God, here we go again.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. Like my main thing is my wrist, as you know. I mean, I snapped my wrist off, didn't I? Really bad. It don't turn. Yeah. So when I grab a throttle, I got to pull it back. That's why I struggled a bit on the flat track thing I was doing for a while. Because flat track's opposite of Speedway, isn't it? You come in slow, hard out. Yeah. I struggled on that because of my wrist, so I really had a hard time with that. But no, I mean, I think Speedway, I think it's still something there for me, and I don't mind doing one off here and there and stuff. But
Yeah.
as far as going back, I think my days are done there now. I think I'd rather just sit back and watch the boys play now.
Because I was actually I did a live with Andy Graham last week or the week before, and not seeing
Yeah,
any used to race with my dad.
I've had some messages already. Want to know if I'm going to do his farewell, or if I'm not sure
That's
yet.
the one,
You know
yeah.
what I'm talking. It's
Yeah.
been in contact already.
Yeah. Yeah, I've already got Callum Marshall's come up online and said, Lee Ashby,
Yeah.
tell Ronnie about the Andy Graham testimonial meeting that we're on about. And I was like,
he's already been in touch with me, so I know. So I've been thinking about it.
Never know. We'll see what happens with this virus next year and see how we go with that. But yeah, if it'd be cool if we can get some guys like you there for these sort of one-off things.
It'd be nice.
Right, I've got a
crowd for him.
Yeah, it would be Ronnie, especially as the fact that I couldn't believe he never had a testimonial all those years he raced from the 70s.
I'm shocked myself because he's been around as long as I have, if not before I have. So that's crazy.
So it sounds like something that could be done. We'll keep you informed of that.
He deserves it, that's for sure. He's done his dues in Speedway, that's for sure.
Exactly, Ronnie. So I think it would be a good thing. The powers of social media, you never know. Right, I've got a question here. From Steve Carty. He's put, Lee, ask Ronnie about our trip to Brighton to visit Andy Phillips in hospital. I know that he doesn't like vinegar.
Oh my God. Well, Andy Phillips, I think when he broke his leg, I think. Yeah. Gosh, I remember a bit of it. Gosh, that's kind of scary, really. I haven't gone back that many years because I can't remember what it was, but I think he had something about pickled eggs or something, drinking the vinegar or something. I can't remember what it was, but it's going back some time now. He needs to give me some kind of idea what it was all about, but I do remember some of it, yes.
Right, I've got a question here from Adam Winslet as well. He said, would you like to have a go on the Kenny Roberts Yamaha flat tracker?
Well, if I can get around, if I can get my wrist to work, but I always like to play. I'll ride anything, but I do find flat tracking a bit tough with my wrist. I was just saying to you, it's coming in and coming off and getting on and off the throttle. The old wrist don't work very well. Speedway, I can do it because you just grab a handful and you pin it, don't you? So it's a bit different. But flat track, I do struggle a bit now.
Okay, fair enough. I've got Phil Alkin here. He's put, I remember seeing Ronnie come to Stoke in 2005 and have a go on one of Jan Steckman's bikes, and he was flying around so fast.
Wow, Stoke, I remember going there because I was living with Jan Steckman at the time when I first came over. So I probably went out and did a couple of laps and did some practicing a little bit with Jan. I mean, you couldn't ask for a better person to come in and move in with. And the kid was, he's the only child. He was very organized. His equipment and his house and his stuff he had was absolutely amazing, really. I mean, I never seen anybody so organized and so professional, and I couldn't ask for a better person to learn from and help me build my bikes and kind of get me started. So I got to respect Jan Steckman for that. He was a good kid, and I still respect him now. He's a good lad.
Cool. I've got a question here for myself. Was there a certain bike or an engine that you rode over the years that ended up being a bit of a favorite? And if so, can you sort of remember what years or that was?
Wow. Well, I've had a few. I mean, I even had one of Kelly's GMs one year. I bought a GM off him I was using, and I rode that for quite a while. And it was a good little bike, but in the West Lakes before then. But I've always had the GMs. I've always been a GM person. I did have a couple bikes that were I only used at certain times and engines. One of the bikes I used was probably the quickest motors I ever rode was the engines that Michael Lee was doing for me. He bid a couple of them for me in the World Finals, and the one I should have won, really, and it was in Sweden, I think, and I touched the tapes and just messed up my whole day, but I was quickest on the day, and really I should have won that. I think Yano won it that day. But that's the problem that it takes in these one-off days, It's you make one mistake or you blow a motor or you touch the tapes, your game's pretty much over. That's how much it is on a one-day series. So I'm just sad that, I had to hurt my back before the GP series come in, and I didn't get a chance to play in the GP series because I reckon it would have suited me a lot more. Being such an open thing, so you have a bad day, you get a chance to make up on it. So
just about to say that. Would you have enjoyed that? Would you enjoyed that?
I think the GP series would have been a lot of fun, and having more chances, to play the game. I think it would have benefited me a lot, and I think I would have had a lot more chances to be a world champion then. So that's all right. I've had my fun. I made my 5 World Finals. and I was always in the top 10 and for, gosh, I don't know, 14, 15 years. So
Yeah.
I can't complain. I might not be a world champion, but in my eyes, I've seen enough, and I've joined and I did enough, between junior champions, leagues, little team cups, pairs, Italian champion. I mean, I've had a lot of fun, and I got to say, I'm not sad about any bit of it, I'll tell you.
No, trust me, mate. You're definitely a legend. I enjoyed your career growing up, and hence I'm wanting to speak to you now. Look, all these years later, you're still the name's still there, and everyone still remembers everything. So it's really cool to reminisce all these. I got an Emma Young here. She's put, ask Ronnie, do you remember changing your van from a penguin suit into a race suit at mum and dad's wedding?
Yes, I do. Yes, that's Rod Young, and it's Barry Young. Rod Young was my old mechanic. So it's Barry Young is his brother and daughter. So they were very into Speedway and stuff. So I remember all those crazy things we used to do, and we've had a lot of times with them. Rod Young was pretty much, I lived with when I lived in Tewksbury. See, he was my main mechanic for years. He did all the traveling with me, and he helped me get things started and get moving. And he's like an English dad to me. That whole family are, and we've had a lot of good times, with Barry and his weddings and all that stuff, and always doing something silly. We were back in those days.
I've got another one here. There's no name on this one, but it says, do you remember your neighbour in Tewksbury? So it must be your neighbour in Tewksbury.
Margaret or Michael.
Okay.
Michael Heath and Olga Heath, James Heath one side, and I had Margaret the other side. I called her the witch. She didn't like me.
Oh, the witch. Gonna get yourself in trouble.
I was young and living in a 3-bedroom house on my own. She didn't like it, racing motorbikes and all that. You're gonna get neighbors like that. I tried my best to keep her happy, but what can you do,
Exactly that. I've got a question off someone that's come on from YouTube. Anthony Boyd. He's put, what do you prefer, to race the upright, or the laydown bike, Ronnie?
Well, funny you're saying that, because I was one of the ones that stayed on the upright the longest, while everybody else was getting the cobwebs out and trying to figure them out and trying to get them working. I was smart enough to stay on them and kept making money until they all started beating me and things started getting better. And once they started getting better, then I moved into them. But I was probably one of the last ones to get off the uprights and go to the laydown. But I think the laydown is a better ride now. It's more controllable, and they do ride a lot different than the uprights, I got to say.
Yeah. Did you actually end up preferring that in the end, or?
Yeah. All my bikes were laydowns at the time. I swapped them all over at that time. So I still got one upright. So it's back in the States. I got to put away. There's not many I had left, because moving back and forth between my injuries and stuff, I had to get rid of a lot of stuff because I had nowhere to put it. So it's kind of sad, really, because I did have a lot of stuff, and that all kind of just disappeared and sold off. So a lot of people out there got my bikes and leathers and all kinds of stuff out there. So, yeah.
I got a question off of Rogue Lansford. He's put, ask Ronnie, did the big crash he have ever put him off in his mind before a race?
Yes and no. That big one, I broke my back in Sweden. It definitely seen the light for me there. When you're completely paralyzed and you have to learn how to walk and
scary,
and get up out of bed and start all over again. I mean, 18 months of my life, that was a bit of a shock for me, really. But being in my blood, no, I was scared. But when I first came back, I think it was 95, I think it was, but at Long Eaton when I came back, and I can still remember it now. I was a bit shook up about it, but I think I was that nervous for anybody to get near me. I went out and did 5 races and made 5 wins and maxed out my first meeting back. So I don't know if that was nerves or what, or just didn't want nobody near me. I don't know, but I was shocked because everybody else was.
just went for it and was gone.
Just go, made every gate and just took off.
Sounds like a beautiful night. Sounds good.
Chris Van was there too. He was shaking his head. He was.
Yeah, I bet he like that. Right, I got a question here from Gareth Edwards. He's put, what was the one thing that you remember doing that really elevated your performance to another level?
Another level was just trying to keep up with the new upcoming riders. When you got people like I was playing against, Wiggy, Hans, Eric, Tommy Knudsen, there was, Andy Phillip, and there's so many different riders back in those days. And I didn't like to be beat. And being American, we don't like to lose, do we? We like to win every race. When you're going out there and getting filled in, and I was always in Heat 1, as you know, and it was always wet. I got sick of getting covered from head to toe and have to come in and scrape yourself off.
Yeah.
So you just watch them, you learn from these guys, and you just try to. It makes me want to go more and more and harder every time, And every time I lined up, I knew I wanted to get to that turn first, whatever it took, I was going to do it. Even if I had to kick somebody or whatever it took, I was fighting to get to that corner first. I'll tell you. So, but it encouraged me to go better and better every year, And I think it was just equipment, people that are around me. I had a bunch of good people around helping me and encouraged me to go better, and and just. There was always something there, being in the blood in the racing style. You just, it's always there. What it's like. You just want to win, don't you? You don't like to lose.
100%, mate. 100%. That never leaves. Got a question here saying no name on this one. Do you remember your fan club versus Greg and Billy at a paintball when you was on crutches? Is that someone's put?
Yes, I was on crutches with a broken ankle playing paintballs.
Wow.
And I remember. I think it's the lad that's singing this right now because I blasted him big time. He was a young lad. He come running up to me when I was sitting there, and I think I unloaded my whole gun on him. He was warped from one side to the other side, and I think that's who sent this message just to have a giggle. But yeah, we were all booked in for it, and I had the cast on my leg, and I thought, you know what, I'm still going. I walked out there and found me a little patch somewhere and just loaded my gun up, and we had a cracking time. It was really good.
Someone's put Phil Alkins put, what is Ronnie doing these days? He sort of touched on it a little bit at the start.
Well, raising two boys, doing a bit of metal fabrication with a new company, Forgeability. I'm still working for Harley and Tramp, doing some balloting and bikes. And I got a new little business of working with Boydie that was just online a minute ago, bringing these bikes over from America, bringing over older style bikes and stuff and selling them over here now. So I got plenty going on right now, that's for sure.
Do you enjoy that?
I do. I like to keep busy, keeps my mind occupied, with the two boys too. I got both my kids, and one's into football and rugby, the other one's into odd little things here now. He's 17, as you know, teenager. It's trying to keep them in line and keep them straight is not easy these days. So there's not much for them to do these days. So besides get in trouble and do things they shouldn't be doing, but we're working on them. We're trying my best. I got them in college, and I got them for hopefully studying for electrician license and things like that. Just trying to keep them on the right line, really.
That's good, Ronnie. Well done. Fair play. I got a question of my own. What was your favourite tracks in the British League and why? And any favourite tracks around the world in Europe and why?
It depends. I always like the smaller tracks being American, really. I think, Wolverhampton and Bellevue and places like that were always a good one. Eastbourne. I did a lot of racing at Eastbourne. I probably guessed it for them every other week. I don't know. It's probably part of their team, I think. I think I won the cup with them one year, I think. Crazy enough. But, there was Poole. I don't think I had a favorite. I liked them all, but my home track, Wolverhampton, was probably one of my favorites, and I always liked that track. I knew how to ride that track. I knew where to pass. I knew all the little secrets around the place, and it was just a good time for me, really. And I knew every time we always had Crayley come there, it was going to be a battle. The game was on, and me and Sam Noah with Greg and Billy there, and Simon Cross and Eric Gunderson. It was war. It was literally not a meeting. It was war. I'll tell you.
Great atmosphere as well, wasn't there at Monmouth Green down there?
Oh gosh, yeah. We used to get, used to bring in probably 5,000 to 6,000 people on that kind of nights. It was crazy, really. But you just don't get that anymore, and it's sad, really.
It is sad.
You don't get the crowds, you don't get the atmosphere anymore, and it's kind of sad, really. But I'm just glad I had the chance to come over when I did and be involved with it when I did, really.
Any tracks around Europe you enjoyed?
Well, I did a lot in Germany and Sweden and Poland and places like that. When I first went over to Poland, I was probably me and younger guys. We went over there. They were just kind of getting started over there, believe it or not. They didn't have much experience. They didn't know how to maintain bikes yet or anything. So we kind of showed them the ways a little bit now, and then showed them how to maintain and build bikes and wash them and all that stuff. And nowadays, Christ, they're the top country in the world now, and there's so many riders out there. It's unreal, but. Yeah. I think Sweden was a good one. I had a little track called Visby. It was a really one place that I was pretty much unbeatable around there. And Poland, when I first started over there, was Uno Lesno. So it was a track that I rode there for 6-7 years. And I loved that track. It was a good track, and it was big and wide and long straights. And I just really enjoyed it, And I don't think I have really favorites of anyone's, really. I enjoy any racing track and any racing. It's just a pleasure to be out there and having a good time.
Was there any in the British League that you didn't really particularly enjoy, or?
Wow. La, la, la. Well, there was a couple that scared me. I got to see Exeter back in the day was pretty
Yeah.
scary back in the days. They
Steel
said to me if
fence,
I didn't
yeah.
have white paint on my elbow, I wasn't riding the track properly. So.
Yeah. Easier said than done.
And I
Yeah.
saw that wall made out of steel. It kind of made me think twice. I thought, Christ, I don't want to hit that thing. Jesus.
Yeah. Exactly that.
But there wasn't too many other ones. I think I got along with pretty much most of them, really. I mean, there was some a bit jumpier or bumpier or rougher than others, but, we all got to ride it. We all got to get on with it. So it's just a matter of setting your bike up and riding it hard and getting on with it, really.
Yep. Another question I've got here. Did you have any favorite levers or Kevlars over the years that you sort of really liked to wear that were lucky? Or
I had a few. I had the black and pink ones I had that I think someone's got. I'm not sure. When I first came over, these new ones I've got, the blue and black ones, I've always liked them. Always stand out very well. And they kind of suited my colors. But when I first started over here, I started the Dayglow colors. If you remember, right? I mean, I came in with the Dayglow orange, red, and black, didn't I? And next thing you know, a year later, everybody comes out with the orange and the green, and then all the Dayglows came in. So, I think that was the Dayglow orange and black I had. It did stand out really well, and they were bright, and they knew who I was when I was coming. That's for sure.
Yeah, exactly that. I'm gonna get some of the. I used to like the old orange.
There you
go. On the side. Beautiful ones, and then obviously earlier years you had the blue.
That's it. We had the blue and the white and the black. So, those were probably the first ones that came over. That's pretty young there. That's probably about 87, 88.
You and Wiggy there?
Yeah, that's the black and pink there. Jesus. Wicked
and the
days.
Pure red for the Bellevue look.
The old Bellevue. That was some good team we had there. We had a lot of fun there, I'll tell you.
Can you remember them crazy old suits that they brought in? Those old silky
silly things we wore to pull over.
Oh, man.
God, those nylon things, they were horrible. Horrible things.
They were terrible.
I don't know whose idea that was, but they were horrible.
That's a nice early one. Look, in what's that, 87?
Look at that. That's 1987. I first came over, my first year right there. Wow.
Got the black ones on there, look, with the Team USA.
Look at that. I even had hair then. What's going on?
There's the rocket, look, in the prone position off the gate.
In the prime spot. That's it. Legs back. There we go. Look at that. That's when we won the pairs.
Yeah.
Cracking day.
I got a nice one here in the Wolves.
Look at that. Wow. Look at all that hair. What happened?
I know. Yeah, this is one that everyone got used to seeing all the time. You two boys together, look.
Oh yes.
Is that Javi? It's Javi there, look. Javi.
It was usually the other way around. I was usually on the inside of Sam was the outside because I couldn't trust him on the inside sometimes. I'd go right or to the inside and let him come around. So many good days riding with Sam. So,
great days with Sam.
Look at that. We've had some cracking years and some cracking days, I got to say. So, I mean, he was the main man that kind of got me over here back in 1987. He was the one that recognitioned my name and bring me over. So, got a lot of respect for Sam bringing me over there. So,
okay, I've got an interesting question here from someone on YouTube. Richard Gorton. He's put, can you discuss your starting routine, digging, looking at the tapes, your position on the bike? What little thing did you do that made a difference? Interesting.
Rubbing my gloves up and down the glove on the grips all the time. It was
doing the old adjusting, the wrist.
Pushing the gloves up, pulling the gloves. It was a habit. It's a nerve thing, isn't it? Just like you see some people doing the fuel caps and things like that. Mine was always
100 times.
Always pushing my gloves up.
I love
funny, man. People remember these things. That cracks me up. You know?
I was actually going to ask you as well. One of the questions I had was, did you have any like superstitions or anything during your racing days that you had to do? Or...
Nah, I wasn't into that kind of thing. You know, people sit there with
thing.
Colors and things like that.
Yeah, it's good thing.
Good thing. Anything like that. I didn't believe in that stuff really.
That's good.
Just get on with it.
I've got a question from Zoltan Porkalub. I took a bit of a run up at that surname. He's put, did you race in Hungary? So I'm presuming he's from Hungary.
I did.
Ah.
Yeah, I did. I can't remember. I pretty much did quite a few countries: Austria, Hungary, Italy, Czechia. I mean, I pretty much covered more of the continent over this side of the country than I did my own country, really. So It was a long time ago. It was probably a qualifying round or something like that. I mean, I even made Russia, man. When we went over to race in Russia for a qualifying round, they made us stay in the hotel and everything. I can still remember it now. They locked the vans up, took us a bus back to the hotel. We got bored of the hotel, so a few of us decided we wanted to go out and have a beer. And the cops came and got us and took us back to the hotel.
Oh, Jesus. So you was already in quarantine then? You was in quarantine in flipping Hungary then?
Yeah, they wouldn't let us go out in town in Russia. They're just unsafe. They said that you need to stay in the hotel. I was like, okay.
Let's tuck them Americans back away in the hotel. Right, I got a question here from Niall Strudwick on YouTube. He's put, did Ronnie enjoy the Eastbourne Wolverhampton rivalry during his career? Good to see you back on a bike, mate, as well.
Yes, I mean, coming back to Wolverhampton after my injuries, and we must be talking about 96 and back in the days. I mean, that was probably one of my best years ever, really. That was my 10-year reunion. I came back after my injuries from 95 and breaking my back in 93, I mean. And we pretty much swept the league that year, you know. Luckily, coming back, my first year back with them, being team captain, I think we won the cup, the league, the Dudleywood Trophy, and I had a 10-year testimony all in 1 year. So, I mean, I got to say 96 was probably one of my best years in my career. And, you know, and just everything worked for us that year. We couldn't do anything wrong that year. And it was just a cracking year that I'll never forget. And I think a lot of the boys, Peter Carson and Michael and all those guys are all the same. And, you know, we just had a really, really good year. And, you know, you don't have many years like that. And I'll never forget it. That's for sure.
Yeah, beautiful days, beautiful memories, that one. I got Richard Blakemore. He's put, hi Lee, can you ask Ronnie, does he remember Phantom Pasty, Poor Garlic? Don't know if that rings a bell to you.
Phantom Pasty, Poor Garlic. What's he on about? That must be the chip shop we used to go to or something.
Ah, right, was it?
It could have been one of the fish
Poor
shops
Garlic.
out after Brampton, possibly. I'm not sure.
Ah, right, might be there, yeah. Right. Scott Phillippots put, has Ronnie got any stories of the Wolves rivalry with Cradley as a Heathens fan? I'm sure he has.
Stories. Where do you want me to start, man? The arguments and the fights we used to have and the battle zones and you know, the referee arguing about somebody knocking one down and screaming and yelling on the arguments on the phones, and it was just it was a battle. I mean, we had some arguments too back in the days, but in the day when it was all over, we got up to the bar. We all had a beer and we all stood hands, and it was all good at the end. But yes, you know, there was a lot of rival going on there, I think, and you know, being local rivals, there was a lot of stuff that did go down. There was a lot of stuff there, you know, that was being thrown and things were getting a bit mental around the pits. And it got pretty crazy back in the days, I had to say.
I've heard stories that people used to have to get escorted in and out of the pit sometimes, didn't they, at some of these?
Oh, yes. We've had a few of those.
If someone has the top guy off, or
a couple times. I've had a few by the neck, or pushing or shoving, or, you know, it happens. You get so mad, you know, for somebody doing something here, you react, don't you? You don't think about it, but until it's too late sometimes.
Yeah, exactly that. Oh, Richard's come back again. Richard Blakemore's come back again. He's put, another old grass track Speedway star you had a meal with him was Clayton Williams and Simon Cross, apparently.
I did. It was Clayton's farewell meeting. I was going to ride in his meeting, I think, but I think Clayton blew the bike up for on practice, and I didn't get to ride in it. But I got to do a couple of grass tracks. Andy Phillips was helping me back then. I used his bike.
I remember him,
I did a couple of grass track meetings, and I did quite well, believe it or not. I think I made the final, and you know, I should have got more involved with it, really. I don't know why I didn't, because I think grass track and long track would have suited me, being small like I was.
Yeah.
I'd probably been good at it, really. But
yeah, definitely.
I think it just never really pushed myself into that way of it. I don't know why. I think I was just too busy along with Speedway back in those days. You know, riding 4 leagues in 4 countries a week. I didn't really have much time to do much more, really. So.
Right, I've got a question of myself. I put, obviously, you won the World Pairs Championship. That was with Greg, wasn't it?
It was the World Pairs. We won it with Greg and Sam. Yeah.
Yeah. How obviously, what did that mean to you at the time, and your memories of that?
Well, it's just always achievement for the Americans. You know, we dominated for a long time, not being big-headed though. But when we first came over, the Americans were always had a good side, didn't we? And we did win a lot of World Team Cups and pairs and things like that. So to be able to still hold our ground and still be able to do that and still win a couple of them, it's achievement, man. But we've kind of lost that a bit now, and that's what we're hoping to rebuild again. You know, we do got some good riders coming up, and it'd be nice to see us to get back in the ball game there, and and compete in some more of these World Team Cups in pairs, and see if we can still win a couple. But I think we got a couple more years down the line for that. But it ain't far away. I think we got some good lads coming up, and I don't think it'll be long. I don't think it'll be long. As long as we keep Speedway going with this crisis going on and losing more tracks and losing more riders is not good. We gotta keep this sport going some way or another, and hopefully this virus will disappear so we can keep it and keep things growing and get some more tracks opened up. Really.
Yeah, exactly. Well, especially like this year in the British League, who's going to have a lot of the top guys are coming back.
Every time I turn around, it's another track going down, man. It's not good. It's not good. Yeah. It's sad, really. And you think how many riders are out of work right now that have to go get jobs and things like that because they've got no work.
Yeah,
and it's not crazy,
good. Fingers crossed for the new year, and hopefully things might get back to normal.
Yes,
Rogues put, can you ask Ronnie, did he feel great after his last race of his career? Remember that?
My last race of my career, my gosh.
Where was that?
That's a good question. Where was that? Wow, it had to be Wolverhampton, probably. I don't know. I can't remember. I mean, I broke my wrist in Coventry when that big crash with Lee Richardson and George Stansel and all that. First turn, first bunch in, all three of us went to the hospital, didn't we? That's when I broke my wrist the first time. But Christ, I can't remember my last race was, to be honest with you. I mean, last weekend.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. That's easy to remember, isn't it, Ronnie? Oh, that's brilliant. Right, I've got a question off of Steve Powell. He's put, hi, Ronnie. Great to meet you at Broxbourne in February. Can you tell him my shoulder injury is much better now?
Oh, bless him. Did I have a little crash with him or something? Did I? Collarbone or something, was it? My gosh, man. I don't know. There was many days here and there, but sounds like I had a little incident with him or something. Or
yeah. What happened there? Right, I've got one of my questions. You were a massive, obviously, a Wolverhampton Wolves legend. You won the league, Knockout Cup, and another league. I think it was 91. And then obviously the year you mentioned, 96. I think it was league and cup. What were your memories of all that? Obviously, it was a great time. Special Wolverhampton team you had back there.
Well, Wolverhampton was just a great club to be with. The atmosphere, the support we had there, the crowd. They no matter where we went, they were there with us. We've never had such a crowd that supported the club so well. And Chris Van Straten and Peter Adams and all the people we had there. It was just a good team. Everybody worked together. Everybody helped each other. If there was something wrong, people jumped straight on it and helped each other, made sure we were on top. And, and having the supporters everywhere we went. Christ, we went to Peterborough one year. When did we ever sing Wolverhampton beat Peterborough at Peterborough? It's a big track. It's a small track. We never did well there. But to go there and win the KO Cup there that one year, and then going out winning the first race and beating Jason Crump there, I think it just woke up our team that time. And we just carried on that year. And winning the KO Cup at Peterborough was a big boost for us that day. And I think it was a big shock, too, I think, for everybody, because we didn't expect to win it. But it just all worked our way for us. And I think, they do, I think, relied a lot on me to go out and win the first race and get everybody wound up and get the crowd going. And I was good at that. And I always like to start off well because it's a good boost for everybody to come in and get everybody wound up and say, come on, let's go. Let's get on with this now. And that was a good thing that I used to do a lot. And I always like to encourage people and do things well. So
definitely did that in Heat 1. What riders were your favorite? What riders were your favorite to team ride with, and why?
Well, it was always a lot of American boys, but I rode with a lot. Sam was probably one of the best riders I ever ridden with. We knew each other by the back of our hands. If one of us made a mistake, we knew right away we would cut back or he'd do that. We just knew how to ride together. Same with Greg with Billy. I used to love to ride with Hans Nielsen too. Hans Nielsen was just, I call him the machine. The guy was just a master, man. And, I used to line up next to him and race with him. And he even said it to me. He says, when you line up to next to that rocket, you better be ready. He said, because that boy's ready. He's ready to go. But I felt the same way riding against him. I was like, wow. But to get respect from Hans like that, it's just awesome, really. Because I did look up to those boys, Hans, Eric, Tommy, Wiggy. I mean, all those guys were really top riders back in those days. And to be able to be involved with those guys and learn from them was, I was just lucky, you know, to be able to do that with them.
I've got a few guys now sort of mentioning a few memories. I've got Michael McCormick on YouTube has put, thanks, Ronnie, for your Peterborough guest appearances and all the memories. Who else? I've got Debbie Evans has put, tell Ronnie he should have signed for Cradley. Laugh out loud. Loves you, Ronnie.
Debbie used to be my fan club member. Yeah, she did a lot of stuff for me in the days. She's a sweetheart, bless her. She did a lot of time and a lot of newsletters for me, and you know, got all the information for me back in the days and all the disco parties and things like that. So yes, I respect Debbie very much. She did a lot for me in the days. And yes, I know I probably, being Cradley and being our local rivals, I was respected around Cradley. There's not many people who go to Cradley and be respected around that area. I could go to Cradley on a Cradley night, hang out in the bar and still associate with everybody and have a good time. And, you know, I respected that for them too. So they respected me, I respected them, and I had a lot of fun around there.
That's cool. That's cool. That's good. Was there any, it's another question from me here. Was there any other British clubs in your career that you nearly signed for or that you were offered to ride for that didn't actually happen in the end? Was there any other British teams?
Well, I shouldn't say this, but yeah, I mean, there was a couple of clubs I would like to join, but they'll probably stir up a few things, but I don't care. You know, my days are done.
Yeah, that's it, mate.
When I quit Wolverhampton and I moved on, and then I came back and I ended up going to Edinburgh. Really, I didn't really want to, but I did, and I had fun out there, and it was nice to be part of it a little bit. But things didn't go very well for me, and it just kind of dug me in a bit of a hole there, really. But myself, I should have went to Birmingham. Birmingham should have been my place. I think I could have had a couple more years there, but I think it was too local to Wolverhampton. I didn't think they want me there. Afraid I was going to steal their crowd or something. I don't know. But myself, I think I could have done another 3 or 4, maybe 5 years being local with Bellevue. I think it would have suited me very well. Not Bellevue, sorry, Birmingham.
Yeah. The track was sort of similar-ish as well, wasn't it?
It is similar. I like the track. It was local distance for me, and I kind of wish I would have went there, really, but it just didn't happen. But that's life.
What has been your most memorable race or meeting, would you say, and why does it still stick in your memory today?
Well,
weekend.
My first World Final, 1989. In Munich. I had a broken wrist. I qualified for it and got all the way in there, and they told me I couldn't ride it because I broke my wrist, didn't I? So I says, no. I remember being plated and screwed, and I went there. I did the practice and everything. I believe it or not, they put two tire irons on my arm, and I taped it. And I went out and rode the World Final and finished 8th in the world. And I actually had a crash too, believe it or not, and got fished off. But you'll never forget something like that. You know, I made my first World Final. There's no way they're going to tell me I wasn't going to ride in it. And I did. And a couple painkillers and you just get on with it, you know. But to ride with a broken wrist and still finish in the top 10, it's not bad going, is it?
That's very good. That's very good. And that just sort of pretty much tells you the breed of Speedway riders all right there.
Well, that's it. Little pain don't hurt, does it really?
You guys were pretty much riding with some sort of injury and niggle at all times, I'd imagine, pretty much.
Well, yeah. When you're riding the bike, then you don't know the pain's there because you're so focused on what you're doing, you don't think about it. But as soon as you stop, it hits you. It hits you. You just think, oh boy, that hurts. That hurts.
yeah.
But you still go back for more, don't you?
Yeah, exactly, mate. That's it. You still come back for more. A question I got: who was your closest friends during your Speedway career, and how easy was it to block out that friendship once the gate went up with them guys?
It was quite hard. I got along with everybody. I don't think I had any special friends. I mean, when I first came over here, it was probably Jan Steckman, Andy Phillips. There was a few boys here and there that I hung out with. And they were probably the boys that I first came over with and hang out with, and they gave me a lot of support. Andy Phillips, his parents, they gave me a place to where I could do the bikes, and they kind of helped me out a little bit too. And because Andy was part of the Wolves, as you know, and I got to respect them. They did give me a lot of respect, and having some place to do bikes and things like that back in the days was hard. And that I had a little workshop there, and they helped me and got me things going and just gave me the confidence to keep going, really. So back in those days, it wasn't easy and it was tough. And being on my own and, not coming from kind of a wealthy side family, you got to deal with what you got. And it's pretty hard when you're dealing with some people that, got top equipment and top motors and You're showing up and just going with what you got and still trying to
Yeah.
compete. And it was tough. It was tough.
I've got Michael McCormick's put Arena Essex, Ronnie, was a great track for you as well.
I did like Green Essex. Another short track, trapper's track. Suited me well. Make the gate and go. It was any of those little small tracks, they benefited for me and they paid me well because I was a gator. And when you gate, it makes life easy, doesn't it? So, and that's when when I first came over here, I wasn't a gator, but it didn't take me long to figure that out. I'll tell you that.
Looks like the guys are obviously still keeping up about the Andy Graham testimonial. John Milky, John Milky Downs, but
I know I know he's trying to chase me down.
Yeah. I remember Ronnie riding. Let's have a look. I remember Ronnie riding at Wolves, top rider. Would he ride at Andy Graham's testimonial if you had one? We've already discussed that. We've already discussed that. Ronnie's going to think about that one. See what the situation is at the time and all that down the line. So you can all stop asking me about the Andy Graham testimonial now. For what we know about it. We're definitely going to do something of that, and it'll be next year. And obviously, with the situation, no one really knows where we're at with anything like that. So we're going to have to sort of see how
we don't even know if we're going to have Speedway, do we? Yeah,
exactly
so
that, mate. Exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah. Right. You're right. And that's the question I got. You rode for Bellevue Aces, obviously, a couple of spells as well. What were your sort of memories of that time as well?
I really enjoyed Bellevue. It's like one of my favorite tracks too, I gotta say. I did well around Bellevue. The supporters loved me around there. I got to go over there and be the #1 rider and be team captain there for a couple of years. And, we did really well. And I had a good team, as you see in that picture. We had Smudgy, Andy Smith was there with me, and Jimmy Nilsson and Chris Manchester. And, we had a good little side. We all got on really well. And it was just another really home club I rode for that I just felt really comfortable with. And I felt at home. And, we got on really well. Do you remember John Perrin? He used to be running Bellevue.
Yeah.
Good old John.
Bit of a character, wasn't he?
Oh, he was a character. Oh, John, bless him. But, he kept the place going, and he kept a good side going. And we were always competitive. We were always battling there for the league, and we were never a pushover, that's for sure.
Did you get on with John yourself personally?
Yeah, I did. Me and John got on really well. We always had our little times, but it was always about little things, money or this or that, as normal as it is in sports. But we got always along. He always take care of me, and we didn't have any issues. So it was brilliant. It's just sad we had to lose him not too long, a while back now.
Yeah. Do you have any regrets from your Speedway career at all?
I think I could have done things a little better in certain ways. I think I could have put more effort in a few things. I think there's a few things that I probably put more effort in and more confident in, really. But I think I was enjoying myself a bit too much in certain ways, I think. And I did give me a kick in the butt, just like in the under-21s. I should have won that. But I think Gary Havelock and Sean Wilson made sure I did win that by taking me out the night before and getting me completely blasted. And I was bouncing off the walls the next day. So little things like that. But yes, I like to kick myself in the ass for, really. More. I should have been more confident. I should have been more professional in certain ways and certain things when I was learning and I was young. But being young and being on my own, not having somebody there smacking me in the head and trying to keep me in the right ways. I did make a lot of mistakes that I shouldn't have done. And that's life. That's life.
Can you tell us any funny stories from your racing day memories?
Well, I've had a lot of funny stories. I've been many times where I've been stuck in different countries, missing flights, and had to stay overnight in hotels. And me being American, I can't sit in a hotel. I'll go down to the local bar or something, go have a beer. But you're not thinking about it. When you walk in local bars or something like that, people stare at you. They want to know who you are. As soon as they hear American accent, well, I'm being watched, and I'm not paying attention to that. But I was in this one bar, I think it was in Germany one day, and I was having a few beers, having a laugh, and I got to get up to go to the bathroom. And as I got up to the bathroom, there was about 5 guys staring at me, and I thought, oh, no, this doesn't look good. So I came back, I sat down, I finished my beer, and they were still staring at me, still watching me, and I thought, oh, this is not good, man. So I went back to, like, I was going to go to the bathroom again, and I escaped out the back door. And as I ran down the back alley and came out the front way, 4 of them come flying out the front door. And I tell you, I never legged it so fast to the hotel in my life, back to the hotel just to get away from, man. I didn't know.
It's the rocket again. The rocket's gone again.
I've had experiences like that. I've had experiences in Sweden, you know. Sweden, I tell you what, you'll have a laugh on this one. It's probably the only country I've ever had a woman that'll come up to you, buy me a drink, and take you home. Where do you ever get that? You don't get that in England. You don't get any other country.
Wow.
But
no, you don't. No, definitely not.
I was sitting in Sweden one night in Gotland Island, sitting in the bar having a few beers. I had a bad night, sucking a couple of beers down, just being depressed. And this girl come out of nowhere, absolutely stunning. You know, green eyes, blonde hair, absolutely gorgeous. She come up and sat beside me, bought me a beer. They had a swing in this bloody pub, believe it or not. So we were swinging on this pub, having a good laugh, had a few beers. We had something to eat. And then she says, you know, what's your plans? I said, well, I'm going to go to a hotel and I'll probably get up and fly out tomorrow morning because I got to go race the next day. He says, well, would you like to come back with me? And I was like, all right, then. I said, I've never had a woman ask me to come back. I said, oh, no.
Yeah.
So I went back with her for the night, had a really good night, fed me, and she took me back to the airport in the morning. So it was little things like that happened to me in different parts of the countries, even in Poland and stuff like that. So, I mean, when I first went to Poland, as you probably know, it was a bit different back then. I mean, back in 88, 89, back in those countries, it was pretty rough out there, man.
Yeah.
I remember taking a couple of girls back to the room and not being rude. They kind of had more hair in their arms than I bloody did, man. It kind of scared me at first. So I had to introduce them to a shaver and said, look, we need to get this back up.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant. Oh, I love it.
Yeah, I've had some entertainment, I got to say that. I've had times where I was drunk as a skunk and I got to the elevator trying to get to my room and thinking, uh-oh, I don't think I'm going to make this. And end up, you know, using whatever was available those times that happened. It's just things you don't forget, you know, and you think, my God, days of growing up, you know, what did I do to myself, you know? But you don't forget things like that.
Yeah, some great times, Ronnie. Great times and great experiences.
Oh, yes.
A bit of a funny question I had as well is, what can you remember from the British League racing days? There was some dodgy old changing rooms back in the days as well. I'm sure they are now as well. Can you remember what were the really bad changing rooms in the British League?
Whew, there was quite a few, to be honest.
Quite a few, yeah. Gosh. Not very professional, were they?
No, back in those days, I think it was, well, before Reading got rebuilt, that was a bit rough. There was, you know, Long Eaton was a bit, you know, I mean, Christ, the bar in Long Eaton when I was racing, they used to leak from the rain, you know, and stuff like that. But what else was there? I mean, there was, I can't remember too many of them, but there was some pretty tacky places, you know, and the showers weren't very good. They were cold. If you didn't get in there first, you had a cold shower and things like that. But I think of all places I went, Sweden, when I used to race in Sweden, Gotland Island, they took the piss out of me there in my dressing rooms because they put a small mini shower for me in, and they put my name above it. It says rocket shower only because it was a small mini one for me.
I think you'd just be happy to have a shower. And some of these
I was happy as can be. Nobody else uses mine.
Happy days. Happy days. I got another funny memory here by the looks of it. There's no name on it. They've not registered it, but it says funny stories. Can Ronnie remember when driving along long distances, changing drivers without stopping, or swapping cans from van to van at 50 mile an hour with Rodney Young and Andy Phillips? Swapping cans to
We've had many of those.
Yeah.
Well, gosh, Andy Phillips and Darren, that's probably one that said this, really. We were, we did a bit of naughty things back in those days. We didn't do a lot of stuff that we shouldn't have been doing as we did. But I almost literally had a car accident with Andy Phillips and Darren coming back from somewhere because we were talking away, having a good laugh. And I was probably doing about 95, 100 mile an hour as normal, probably with beer between my legs, something stupid. And I heard Darren in the back say, "Ronnie," and I looked up and there was a truck right in front of me and I almost bloody hit it. Somehow I swerved and just missed it. And I tell you what, we all three looked at each other. I tell you what, I just seen skylight right there go through. I thought it could have been all over right there. Man. I was just like, wow, man. But I mean, there was times going down the freeways. Yes. You know, swapping seats, handing beers out the windows. I remember coming through Germany when they had the roadworks, and you know those little clickers they have on the guardrails.
Oh yeah.
It tells you how close you are to the guardrail. Well, nobody would overtake, would they? So me being American, I'm thinking I'm not going to sit behind this truck. I got places to be, so I overtook. And as I was going past these trucks on these little teeny roads. I can hear the clickers hit my bumper as I'm going click, 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 going past these trucks. And these guys in the van just shitting themselves. Rod and all of them just going, what are you doing? I said, I'm not hanging behind this truck any longer. I said, I'm going, man. And just little things like that. You think, my God, scary days, really. But you got to laugh about them. Nothing ever happened, thank God. Knock on wood. But, I did see a couple of scary times in my days, yes. I had my dad with me one time. I tell you one about my dad. He was in Poland with me. We were coming back. It was a major rainstorm, and I went to overtake this car in my van, and I got between the two lanes, and the van actually hydroplaned, and it took off. And my dad was going, "Are you going to get over?" I said, "I can't." I took my wheel and I spun it around. I said, "Look, this van's on its own ride, Dad. I don't know where we're going." And he just grabbed the dash, and he was just shitting himself. And as I went over, I ran into the back of this other van, spun this van around. I spun around and pointed towards traffic. And I just thought, holy shit, that was crazy, man. And my poor old man, I think he about had a heart attack. I was
going to say, what are you doing to him? Jesus. Killing him there. Someone's even put on here, Ronnie would make a brilliant president.
Holy shit.
Holy shit.
I don't know about that.
They might bring out these stories if you become president. That kind of stuff. Oh, actually, Jesus. I've got Wayne Carter just come in.
Mr. Sound.
He's put, "Hey up, dude, always getting me into trouble."
Yes, I remember the first years I went to Wolverhampton. I met him sitting at the pub with Andy Phillips and Carl Stoney, all the boys. Yes, I was the new upcoming boy, the new youngster, and yes, I did cause a few problems with the boys and show a few bad things in my days, as we do. But we all have a laugh about it. And we all had a lot of fun, and I had a lot of respect for Wayne and Carl Stoney and Andy Phillips. I mean, we did have some fun, I got to say. But we did get up a lot of mischief back in those days.
Yeah, I remember all them guys. A question I got: you've won things as an individual and a team as well. Did you prefer to be part of a team, or did you rather ride individual?
I think being a team is more fun and more exciting, I think, because it's a team effort, and if you can get a team to work together and everybody goes out and does their part, it's a big achievement. But those one-off world finals were hard, and you think back in our days, when you're on your own, you got, 4 qualifying rounds to even get to a world final. Back in our days, that was hard work, and just to make it through those 4 rounds. Yeah. To even make a world final was such achievement back in those days. Amazing, so, riding on my own, it did put a lot of pressure against you. You had to do a lot of work. You had to make sure your equipment's up to date. It's a lot more focus on yourself, really. But within a team, it's more relaxed. You work together. And, I quite prefer the team things a lot more, too. But those one-off days were experiences. And those qualifying rounds and things we did back in the days, it was experience, and I'll never forget them. And I'm just glad I was part of them and be able to do what I did and make 5 World Finals in a row. It's just achievement alone just to be able to do that.
Yeah, for sure. Personally, I grew up as a Swindon Robins fan. My dad and my uncle both raced for them. You had a spell with the Robins. I think it was 2006.
I did. I think 2006, 2006. Somewhere in there. I think somebody got hurt, and Roscoe called me up. Wanted to know if I wanted to finish out the season with them.
Yeah,
I was like, really? I said, Christ. I said, don't have any equipment or nothing. So I just thought, well, if you got a bike, I'll come and I'll finish off the season with you. But it was tough coming into a mid-season, not having any practice, and then trying to compete with people that are all on form, and riding somebody else's different bike and things like that. It was tough. It was hard, but I still had fun. I was still scoring 8-9 points. I was doing all right, but it wasn't easy. I got to say, stepping in like halfway through the season like that's not an easy ball game. But no, I enjoyed it. I'm glad I had part of Swindon and got to do a little bit with them, actually.
Yeah, that was cool. That was very good to see you there. What do you personally feel yourself is your best achievements in Speedway?
My best achievement in Speedway. Wow. I don't know, really. I think my best achievements was probably winning the leagues with Wolverhampton. I mean, we've had some cracking years, Wolves, and they weren't ever easy. It was always a good battle. It was always against, Bellevue or Poole. It was always a good battle, but, we always seemed to pull through and we always seemed to battle it out, and sometimes it even came down to the last bloody race against me and Sam sometimes. And, it was
Yeah.
it was a lot of pressure. It was a lot of pressure, and you got people, wanting you and keying you on and thinking, "Come on, you can do it." And you think, "My God, here we go," But I mean, just be able to win the leagues with the boys and coming through and pulling some nice ones through for Wolverhampton in the crowd. That was awesome, really, because when the supporters we had there were just fantastic people, and we couldn't ask for better people, and to be able to win a couple of leagues with them and be team captain and be part of it all, it was achievement alone just to be doing there.
Does it feel cool to know now that people still like reminisce about that time? It's almost like you guys still seem to get like more famous as time goes on with now social media. We watch all these races back on YouTube. We're like, it's like yesterday still. It's like, is that cool for you?
Funny.
Like, it feels nice.
My brother Scott, my brother Scott that lives in America, he used to ride with me too, and he says ever since I've come back and doing this thing in New York, he says I've never seen so many people texting and messages he's had. He says, for fuck's sake, my brother's a goddamn legend. He says, he doesn't even ride anymore. And he's like getting about 200 messages a day just from people all over the world. He says, it just blows my mind, he said. He says, he don't even race anymore. And he says, he get more publicity than he ever did when he was racing. He says, absolutely nuts.
That's mad, isn't it? It's mad, isn't it? Now this is going to go everywhere, and then I'll be sharing it everywhere. That's what I mean. There's plenty of love. It's still loads of love. There's still loads of love out there, Ronnie.
Yeah, I love the sport, and I just hope we can keep this sport going, really, because it is a great sport, and it's good for the crowd. It's good for riders and people, and I just hope we don't lose it, really, because this whole thing that's going on, really, and losing tracks left and right. I mean, I don't know if we lost Pool now or not. I don't know, and that's really sad because they've always been a top club for so many years, but I can't see that letting them go. But at the moment, it's on hold, isn't it? I mean, that's sad, really. I mean, in Reading, another one. What about Hackney? I mean, Christ, we had a fantastic stadium there built, but we had about a year there or two. And it's just sitting there doing nothing. Oxford. It's just, I just can't believe it.
Crazy,
we got some really good tracks that just sitting there doing nothing.
Oh, that's crazy, man. It is sad, mate.
Yeah, we need to win the lottery or something, right? So we can open these
we
babies
do,
back
mate.
up.
Buy them all, buy them all. Whip Oxford back into shape. A lot of the guys are coming in. A lot of the guys are coming in with more memories. Simon Corbett's put, Ronnie, what was it like losing to Cradley all the time?
I don't say about losing.
Not sure about that.
It was a battle back and forth. They got their fair share out of us too many a time. So I got to say,
definitely,
it was very competitive. But most of the time we usually get them. But we did lose a few between the boys too. Oh yes, and you accept that. They were a good side too, my God, man.
It was very good, very good. Alex Chad put, Lee Ashby asked Ronnie about getting stuck in the lift at the hotel in Wolverhampton.
It was more like shutting it off, wasn't it?
I was like, that was it.
Well, we had
up on the screen.
The hotel guy wasn't very impressed with us that night, so we were just kind of teasing him and floating around. But yeah, we got stuck in the elevator. We were hammered that night and everything else. I remember getting back up to the room. Chris Van Stratton wasn't very happy because we were getting a bit crazy and the elevator was being shut off. And then I decided to go up to my room and shoot fireworks out my window of the hotel room. And that didn't kick off very well at all.
That's not till this Thursday. Not till this Thursday, Ronnie. You shouldn't be doing all that.
They're going off around my house already, man. They're off.
I know. It goes everywhere, doesn't it? All week. Another one's put, Gavin Wolf put, Ronnie, do you miss the Tewkesbury nightlife?
Oh gosh, yes. Tewkesbury was a good little town. I lived in Tewkesbury for 18 years. When I first moved in there, I think I bought the house in 93. Well, was it 87, 89, about 93? I think somewhere in there. I bought it from Rod Young, my mechanic. He ended up leaving, so I decided just to stay there because I had the garage and everything was all set up. So I ended up buying the house, and I lived there for 18 years. But you think when I first came over here at 18 years and be able to walk into a pub and get a beer, it was just crazy. We're 21 in America. And
21 in America,
You're never going to believe this, Dad. I was like,
beers.
Beer. And he was like, you're kidding me, man. But I mean, Tewkesbury, I think we tried a night out in Tewkesbury. There was 32 pubs in Tewkesbury back in those days. But we all tried to have a half pint in every one of them. Well, we only got about halfway, and they ended up carrying each other home because we were just absolutely plastered. Just couldn't do it. But I mean, Tewkesbury could talk around there. I've had some legends around there. Everybody knows who I am. I did a lot of the festivals out there. I did memorials for them. I spent a lot of time in those pubs and having a bit of fun around there. And yes, Tewkesbury was pretty much my grow-up grounds for about 18 years.
Some mad memories there then.
Oh,
you
yes.
had obviously a season at Long Eaton. What was that like? I think it was 97.
Well, Christ, look at the team we had. Come on. Jono,
Hmm.
me, Stoney, Brent Warner, Martin Dixon. I mean, come
Sounds
on. You
fun.
can ask for a
Sounds
party a
fun,
team of
yeah.
that. Jesus Christ. I'll
Yeah.
tell you, man. That was one heck of a year. I had to say that.
Yeah.
We had a lot of fun, a lot of experience with
Yeah.
those guys. And yeah, that was one of those years that you don't forget. You know, those 6 crazy boogers all together at one time can be pretty dangerous at certain times, can it really?
Yeah, exactly that. Very, yeah, I can imagine that was pretty crazy with you guys there. What was there any riders that you didn't really like racing with back in the days? Was there any guys you didn't really enjoy racing with that were a bit hairy, didn't particularly enjoy?
There was a couple here and there, you know. If you remember Scud Missile, are you from Crayley?
Yeah,
Scotty, whatever his name was, he was a bit of a
yeah,
nutser. I had a few little excursions
yeah,
with him.
yeah,
Everybody knows Nicky. Everybody's had excursions with Nicky. I mean, that's just in his blood. He's not riding unless he's pissing somebody off. He just
yeah,
loves it.
yeah. He's full on.
Who else did I have excursions on? I had Simon Wade back in the days. We had a few elbow shoving and
Yeah.
things like that.
Mhm.
Yeah, didn't have too many excursions with people really. I mean, I just chalked it up. It was one of those days, you know, you think you what you give is when you're going to give back. So I just chalked it up on the board and said, fair enough, I got you, and I'll get my own back on you. Don't you worry.
Yeah, things come around, don't they? That's how it happens. I got an interesting question here for you as well. Who would you say were the 3 best riders that you've ever competed with in your career? That's a difficult one.
Woo! Wow.
Yeah. Sorry about
Wow.
that. Sorry, not sorry.
That's a tough one, man, because I don't think I can name 3 because there was so many back in those days. But you think back in those days, it had to be some of the Danes like Eric and Hans.
Yeah,
were
sure,
2 of my favorite, you know, and then it was the Moran guys that are always there. But I mean, I don't know. That's a tough one to name 3. I mean, I don't know. I don't think I could name 3 of you because they were all very competitive back in those days, and just to name 300 people I did. You know, it was just so competitive. It's pretty hard to name 3 riders back in those days, really.
To be fair, you could name 300 probably.
Oh, exactly.
You probably need about 30 for the Americans alone.
Oh gosh, man, there was just so many riders back then. You know, it's just crazy. Paul Fry. There was, you know, Andy Smith. There was Wiggy. There was tons, Mike. Tons. Very competitive. You
know. Next question I got for you: if you could give advice to any youngster out there who wants to become a pro speedway rider, what would it be?
Dedication, mate. Anything you want to do is in your own mind. You know, if you want to do something bad enough, you got to put the time and the effort in. As simple as that. You can't go and do something and do it halfway. If you're going to do it, you got to do it all the way, and you got to do the effort. You got to do the time, and you got to do the practice, because otherwise it won't come.
Yeah,
it won't come. It takes a lot of time and effort, but you got to be done.
For sure. Do you still follow the Speedway now? As in, do you follow the British League at all? And do you follow the GPs on the TV and stuff like that?
I do. I do watch the GPs, and I try to follow Speedway. I mean, Speedway pretty much mostly is on TV these days, isn't it? So we don't really go to many of the meetings these days because I just don't find the atmosphere the same. So I'd rather just watch it from home. And plus, it's a bit tough getting out. You know, now I'm working and things like that. You can't just go out and race those and go to the races and then come home and go to work. It's you're getting older now. It kicks your butt a little bit, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. Catches up. Yeah.
That alarm clock comes early, I'll tell you.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, you're like, what? What's the guys that? Yeah, exactly that. What is it? What guys sort of excite you to watch race now in the GPs? Is there some guys that sort of excite you watching them?
There's a few of them. I mean, Ty. I love Ty. Ty's a great prospect for the sport. He's done so much, man. It's unreal. Dudak. There's but I mean, there's a lot of them really, and there's a lot of new kids I don't even know. I can't even pronounce some of the bloody names of some of them. But I try to keep up the best I can, but it seems to be the GP seem to be falling off a lot of the riders that we knew and stuff, you know. And it's losing Greg now, and Nicky's not in there now, and you know, it's a lot of the young guys that we grew up in riding now. A lot of them are moving on now, so I find the GPs quite hard really to understand who the riders are these days.
Honestly. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like you said, trying to pronounce their names alone. I wouldn't want to broadcast another Speedway meeting because I'd be embarrassing trying to say their names.
Yeah, you have to take a run up, Ron. You have to take a run up. Is there any other sports you enjoy watching or anything like
that? It depends. I've always been into sports. I like scrambling and motocross and flat tracking and things like that. I was in American football. I did 5 years American football, and I did a bit of hockey. I did quite a few sports when I was a kid. So, I mean, there's quite a few. I even did 1 year of baseball, but it just bored me. It was too much standing around waiting for somebody to hit a ball to you. It wasn't enough action for me. Football was more my thing. I loved football. I was really good at it. I did 5 years of that. So floor hockey, I think I did 2 or 3 years of that. I had my eye slid open, almost lost my eye. Got stitched up on the grounds as they do and things like that. But I think my kids are following the same way now. They're into football. They're into rugby. It's in the blood. The kids like sports. And now they do scrambling. They got BMX bikes. And I get to go out and play with them too. We got 3 pit bikes. So we all go out and play and ride still. So,
that sounds fun.
It's in the blood. You can't get away from things like that, can you?
Yeah, exactly that. You also had the time, obviously, you mentioned at the Edinburgh Monarchs. What was that like? You said you didn't particularly really want to go there at that time, but
I liked the track, and I did get along quite well, and I got a lot of support people down there that were trying to help me. But it was hard on a Friday, driving all the way down there, driving back. I didn't really have the setup. I didn't have the equipment. Trying to start back again after being off for a while. It just didn't really click for me, really. I had a lot of few problems, and I had problems with some of the bikes, change break-in, frames that were bent that weren't straight, and traveling back and forth got me in a lot of trouble, and with money-wise, and traveling, and it was hard, really. It's sad because I did ride well for him, and I did enjoy it, but it just didn't work for me, really, and I just didn't get comfortable down there, really, honestly. So sad, really, because I did ride well on the track, and the track did suit me really well.
Yeah. Okay. All through the years, obviously, there was massive American talents that came over through the years. Superb riders all packing into the British League. Was superb to see all the Americans. Was there ever a lot of competitiveness between you guys? Obviously, everyone sort of knew about you, had great camaraderie for the team, World Team Cups and all that sort of thing. Was there a lot of competitiveness between you guys as well?
Oh, yes. There was a lot of excursion going on in between there, especially when they come to World Team Cups and the pairs and who was going to ride in them, and who was pulling the strings, and there was a lot of backstabbing here and there, a lot here and there, and when you're racing against the old boys, everybody wants to beat each other, everybody wants to be the top dog, and I did get messed about a little bit sometimes in those things, but you know what? I just let it go. I wasn't going to make a fuss about it. If they wanted to put somebody else in, or they didn't think I was up to it, or they just didn't want to be part of it sometimes. I said, whatever, I said, just get on with it. I didn't make a fuss about it, but it did hurt sometimes, but most of the time I was involved with them, and most of the time I was with World Team Cups and the pairs, and, nobody ever wanted to do the pairs, did they? So what they do, they shoved me and Kelly together. So that was an experience alone, just being with Kelly and racing and that. I'll never forget some of those days, I'll tell you, man. Holy moly, man. Mitch Shearer and Kelly and me and all those guys getting together. Mate, I could talk stories for hours, I'll tell you.
I bet, you could write a book on that, Ronnie.
Carried to bed. I mean, Christ, I've seen Kelly get carried to bed, put to bed, be up for me and breakfast, and still be up ready to go for the next day, pass the breathalyzing test, and still go score 14 points. I just think, my God, how did he do it, man? I just, if I did it and I got carried to bed, I wouldn't be getting out of bed.
No.
Unbelievable.
That's funny. Debbie's just come up, Debbie Evans, and asked Ronnie about his nickname, the Grasshopper.
The Grasshopper. That was my nickname from football. They used to call me because I used to hop around the field, Grasshopper. Wow. My brother was the Duck. I was the Grasshopper, and my brother was Scooter. It was just nicknames we had from football back in the days and things like that. So how funny. How did she know that? She must have been doing some homework back in the days. She's really close to my family, so she knows quite a few things about me, to be honest with you. Wow.
Well, we've lost our...
Did we lose you? We did. You're back? There you go. We might have lost you there. I think we might be gone, bud. What a bummer.
We're back. Are you all right, Ronnie? Can you hear me?
There you are. You're back.
Can you hear me?
I hear you. What happened there?
Yeah,
That was a bit weird, wasn't it?
The internet went haywire
these days.
Yeah, see, even that breaks down. Had to pull the clutch in and restart. You know what I mean?
Technology these days goes over my head, mate. I mean, back in our days, we didn't have phones, we didn't have computers, we didn't have anything, did we? So,
oh man, sorry about that, everyone. I'm not too sure.
Out, go online and do this, do that. You think, whoa, hold on a minute, man. Jesus.
Yeah, I know.
I try to explain that to my kids. You know, we didn't grow up and playing games and playing on phones and laptops. You know, it was a different world. We lived out riding bikes and playing in tree houses and doing other things. You know,
BMXs and all that. Yeah. So yeah, I broke down there. I pulled onto the infield there, onto the centre green for a second there. Broke. We're back in business. So basically, the last question was, ask Ronnie about the nickname Grasshopper, and we sort of lost it there. So what was that nickname, Grasshopper? Yeah,
Grasshopper. I think she's been playing games with me when I was younger. When I was playing football, Pop Warner football. Okay. I used to hop around the field. I was so small and fast. They used to call me the Grasshopper. I used to bounce around the fields and things. So that was just a nickname I had for playing American football. How funny is that? How did she remember that? She must have been doing some homework or something there.
Yeah. They've all been. It looks like they've all been checking that out before they come online, haven't
they? Grasshopper. Wow, I haven't heard that one in a while.
No, well, someone's got quite a big question here. What's that, Ronnie? Do you have any good memories of your? Stuart and Adele Baker put, Ronnie, do you have any good memories of your meetings with Wolves, Bellevue, Oxford? As you always had good meetings over the years, you knew quickest way around Cowley. I think the track suited your style. What did you think of the shape? And what was it like? You had good battles with Hans Nielsen. He was a genius around Sandy Lane. Nice to hear these great stories. I think I got all that in.
Yes, I mean, Christ, back in those days, it was. I mean, a lot of these tracks I did really well on. You know, Craig, Oxford, all them were all short tracks when they were tight corners. That always suited me really. So there was many tracks I knew if I went to them, I knew I was going to have a good night. It's just a matter of getting the setup right. But go around Oxford was. I used to like Oxford. You know, there was always a big old bump going into turn 3. They used to put everybody off, but I used to have some good meetings around there, and it was always a pleasure to go out there and race. Around Oxford with Hans. And I mean, I remember in the days when we had Billy and Greg there. That was quite competitive back then too, when we had Greg and Billy there. So, you know, it's another track that had a lot of experience and a lot of years of good racing around there. And another track that's sad to see, you know, go really. It's just sitting there collecting weeds at the moment, you know, and, you know, some good racing, really good days and really good, you know, grounds.
Yeah. What would you, if you had an opportunity to change the sport yourself, what would you think, what could they do? So much to do these days, so much to do. And it's so much to do these days, Ronnie.
Well, I think they should come back to doing the juniors more in the beginning. Like when we first came over here, they used to always have a format for the juniors. And I think every league should do that. I think there should be more support for the younger kids because you can't bring up riders and have upcoming riders if you have nowhere to ride. And I think that's the biggest problem in this country at the moment, that they're not giving the younger a chance to really be involved. And they should be doing in between the meeting, the first and the half, and having part of it every meeting. So we got new upcoming kids coming in all the time. And that kind of died off. And it's starting to come back again now. But now we keep losing more and more tracks, and there's more riders out of work. That's disappearing too now. Sad to see.
I've just seen some news recently about Poland sort of implementing about that they only want riders, I think, to not do another league as well as them, or only one other league or something. So obviously that could have implications as well. So
that's what Poland is like. They like to own you, dude. Once they got a contract, you have to live their world. You know? You know, when you tell them you got to race the next day and you get ran off, and they tell you got to race tomorrow and you got to race somewhere else. Yeah, it does cause a bit of conflict. I had a few problems with Poland in that situation too. So, yeah, they think once they got to contract you, they own you, and nobody really owns you, do they? Really? I mean, you do a contract, you have agreement, but you have your own life too. But they don't seem to understand that. The Polish people live a different world. That's like football over there to them, and it's Speedway is like a god out there, and they treat you like a god, and they expect you to do what they want you to do, and it does cause a bit of conflict sometimes.
Like I know the guys are earning obviously better money out there now, and that's sort of like the number one at the moment in the sport with that type of thing. But you still hear a lot of stories, Ronnie, about riders not getting paid and that sort of thing, and it's crazy.
Well, I've had a few. I've had Tracks Lutz and a few other clubs that still owe me money that I gave up on a long time ago too. So yeah, it happens. They go too far in sometimes and promising the riders too much, and then they end up busting themselves, and then we're the ones that get hurt. And it's not fair for us that we're putting the money up and showing up and doing what we got to do, but it's costing us money to do it. And I've had a few excursions like that too. I think a lot of the riders have had it. It happens. It's part of the game, and you just got to write it off, and that's all you can do, really.
I think my internet's all right, so I don't know what's going on there. Oh, here we are. Technology, eh?
Yeah, see? Go back to the old pen and papers, man.
That's it, yeah. Let's send each other letters, Ronnie. I'd enjoy that. I'd love to have a pen pal, Ronnie Correy. Right, I've got a question off of Phil Alkin here. But will any of Ronnie's kids have a go at Speedway and maybe see a junior Correy racing Speedway one day?
I don't know. I've tried to keep them away, really. I don't really, because I mean, my last 10 years hasn't been easy. As you know, I went through divorce and went through a lot of crap, and work-wise and things like that. Then the Brexit came in. My last probably 10 years hasn't been easy for me, and to even get myself into focus and even bring my kids into the sport, there was no way that was going to happen, because I just didn't have the time and the money to even do it. But they both have been on them. They both have tried them. My oldest one's been on a 500. He's ridden a couple times, and I mean, there is ability there, but it's just, the sport's so dang expensive these days, and to get involved in everything, and vans and bikes and everything these days, it's triple what it used to be when I was playing the game. So I don't know how these guys do it, without sponsorship and backgrounds. I really don't know how they do it. These parents and these people are probably holding the grounds for a lot of these kids and stuff like that. And I mean, I've heard of parents selling their houses and taking loans off their houses just to get their kids on the track. And that's just, it's crazy. It is crazy, man. Yeah. So, but that's the reason why I kind of kept my boys away.
Yeah. Before we go, Ronnie, is there any shout outs you want to make? I was going to ask as well, are you on any social media if anyone wants to give you a message or a hello or
anybody can message me either on Facebook or on Messenger. I'm on all that. So if anybody, I get them all the time. I mean, my friends thing is crazy. Not being big headed, but I don't know half of these people are. And everybody wants to be your friend, but who the heck are they, man? Never heard of these people.
They definitely know who you are.
Join them, or do I not? You just don't know, do you? You think, my God, man.
But they know you.
You punch them in, you look at them, and you're thinking, who are you? How do you know?
Yeah,
me?
do I know you? Do I know you? Yeah. Do I know you?
I know. I get it all the time, man. It just goes on and on and on and on. I just think, man, God, man, what's going on?
It is crazy.
It is crazy.
Well, I really appreciate your time, Ronnie. I really enjoyed our chat. A great hour and a half that was. That was brilliant. Awesome, man.
I really enjoyed it. I'm glad you had me on, and I'm glad to have all these questions come up. It's funny because some of these questions have made me giggle, really, because I know who they are and I know where they're coming from. And they gave me a good giggle here and
there. some great memories, and that's what we're all about, bringing all the memories in there. So Speedway and motocross memories has been brilliant. I really appreciate that, Ronnie.
No problem. Thank you very much.
And I'll keep in touch with you as well. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much, Ronnie. I'll share all this to you so you can get it out there as well.
Awesome. Thanks, Lee. Take care, buddy.
Top man, Ronnie. Take it easy, man.
Thanks, everybody. Take care.
Thanks very much. Thanks, everybody.
Stay safe.
Cheers,
everybody.
mate. And you, Ron.
See ya.
Cheers, mate. Bye, mate. What a man, Ronnie Correy. Sorry about that. I'm not too sure. My internet seems all right. I'm not sure if that was Ronnie's end or my end. Appreciate everyone coming on. Yeah, that was a very good laugh. Michael McCormick, thank you. Rogue Lansford, Phil Alkin, everyone that interacted tonight. Debbie Evans used to do the fan club. All you guys, brilliant to have you on. We got some great questions in there. I managed to get a lot of my questions in as well as your guys' questions. Great hour and a half with the Rocket, Ronnie Correy. Can you believe that? He's 54, his birthday 54 on Sunday, this Sunday. And he was rocking it out in America at the weekend and on the rostrum with your Billy Gennaro and the guys that have been racing regularly. So that's pretty cool. Fair play to the man. I know a lot of you, thank you very much, Debbie. How do I get on the fan club? Good one. Cheers, Peter Timney, sorry. So yes, just before I go, I will just, sorry about the stretch there. I'll just update everyone on the latest competition I've got going. You might have saw my live interview on Thursday evening with 10 times motocross world champion Stefan Everts. There he is, look, with the Belgian flag with his name there, look, in Everts. And then you've got his number 72 here with all the countries he won his GPs in and how many, and obviously the signature here as well. His signature on the back of the shirt, Mr. Stefan Everts. He confirmed on the live that this is his shirt from the Western Beach race that he come over and won. So yeah, get at me for tickets for that. Enjoyed that, Lee. Thank you very much, Gary David. Please send a link. To all you people that are asking about a link, basically, even if you miss start of this or some of this, it all gets recorded and I post it up again on my Facebook group, Motocross and Speedway Memories. So all you guys that come on tonight, just get involved in my Facebook group, Motocross and Speedway Memories. Everything gets recorded, goes in there. Also goes on the YouTube channel, same name, Motocross and Speedway Memories. So you don't miss anything, even if you can't hit it live on the night. You can catch it later on that night or the next day or whatever. It all gets recorded, so no one misses out. So yeah, so don't forget, we've got another superb. Would you have a Steve Schofield live chat? Another very popular man. Yes, I've been asked. A couple of people have mentioned that as well, Michael. So yeah, I'm going to try and get in touch with Steve Schofield. That would be a good one. Excuse me. And quite a few people have mentioned him. Like I said, I've mentioned quite a lot of the guys that I've been speaking to, all the guys of all eras. I've just got to basically get them all in, doing it around the time at work. Thanks, Rogue. Appreciate that, mate. So yeah, tomorrow night, don't forget, former world champion, 3 times British champion, Mr. Mark Laram. I haven't seen any interviews of Mark Laram over the years lately, so don't forget he's on tomorrow live as well. He's not too much into his mod cons. I was laughing with Mark. He's going on his son's iPad ready for tomorrow night. And we were laughing that I said I'd send him the link to this in his email. He said, and he showed me a picture on WhatsApp and he had 16,000 unseen emails. I was like, wow. So yeah, he doesn't keep up with the mod con. So I'm gathering that's why we haven't really seen anything of Mark Laram for many years in interviews or everything. So I think tomorrow night will be a cracker with him. So make sure you tune in tomorrow night, 7 p.m. UK time to everyone. And I'll have Mark Laram on tomorrow night. And then also for you motocross fans, this Friday night, 7 p.m. UK time will be Sean Simpson, 3-time British champion, Scottish World Championship MXGP rider, runs his own team, SS24. He'll be on Friday night, 7 p.m. UK time. And then on Sunday night, another motocross one with the legend Jamie Dobb, former world champion 2001, our last British world champion. Another absolute corker there for you. And that's also 7 p.m. UK time on Sunday night. So people, appreciate everyone coming on. As I said, get at me for tickets for the Stefan Everts shirt signed on the back. The main man, Stefan Everts, told me it's definitely his shirt from Western Supermare Beach Race win. Still some stains and stuff on it, even after they tried to wash it or whatever. And then he signed it on the back. So yeah, get at me for that. Tickets, £20 a ticket. So get at me for that. Message me as soon as possible on social media. I think I've already got 30 odd gone already out of the 100 we're doing. So get to me for that. And see you all tomorrow night. I'm off for some tea. And yeah, we'll be back tomorrow night, 7 p.m. UK time, Mr. Mark Laram. So don't miss that one. I think that's going to be another corker. Thanks to the man, Rocket Ronnie Correy, tonight. That was awesome. Really enjoyed that with Ronnie. And we'll keep in touch with him. hopefully if this Andy Graham testimonial gets sorted out sometime in the new year, hopefully Speedway's all up and running and this virus thing calms down in the new year, and we'll see what happens with that as well. So appreciate everyone getting involved. So ciao Bella for the tonight. Good night and God bless everyone. I will keep up my routine of quoting my father, bless him. It's nice to be important, but it's important to be nice. All right, people, I'll leave you with that. See you tomorrow night, Mark Laram, 7 p.m. UK time. Don't miss that. All right, guys, thanks very much. Good night. God bless. Thank you.